the NBA, Shams Charania, is reporting that Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to be traded before tomorrow's NBA draft. The Celtics and the Heat are finalists. Boston's offer centers around All-Star Jaylen Brown, while Miami is pushing young players and draft capital. NBA insider Shams Charania is with us now. Okay, so Shams, let's dive into both teams' potential trade packages, starting with Boston. What does each package look like?
Christine, both of these packages are totally different. The concept of it is totally different. So when you start with the Boston Celtics, it's centered around there's all-NBA player in Jaylen Brown. He's a superstar player on a super maximum contract. And so that brings a level of pressure to any organization. But it's Jaylen Brown and additional pieces, additional assets. And then when you look at Miami, that deal is centered around cost-controlled players that are on rookie scale contracts, as well as a surplus of draft picks. And so when you bring in someone like Jaylen Brown, it is an immediate swap right there of former finals MVP players, someone that can be the face of your franchise. While in Miami, it's a package that you take a step back, you kind of reassess where you are moving forward, you get assets, and then try to rebuild and retool. This has been an intense negotiation period for the Milwaukee Bucks over the last 8 months, but honestly, over the last 6 to 13 months because of everything that's gone into play with Giannis and his desire to find a new home. So right now, he has spent the last few days abroad waiting on where he's going to be traded. And as of right now, it's going to be either Boston or Miami.
Yeah, we know he wants to find a new home, but he also wants to find a potential championship contender. But what is the timing of a deal for a potential trade for Giannis?
So both of these deals have elements that impact the draft on Tuesday. The number 13th pick from Miami would be a part of the Heat's deal. The number 27 pick from the Boston Celtics would be a part of their package to the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's why there's an urgency. They're on the clock to get a deal done here between now and Tuesday night's NBA draft. Co-owner Jimmy Haslam came out several weeks ago and made it very clear that the franchise expects to know before and by the NBA draft whether Giannis wants to commit long-term or they'll trade him elsewhere. Christine, Giannis is not committing long-term in Milwaukee, so that leaves one path for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, it should be a fun 24 hours leading up to the draft. Shams, thank you. For more, here's Tony and Mike with PTI's bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, the Celtics and the Heat are reportedly finalists to land Giannis. Which team makes more sense?
Well, by more sense, if it means contending, right, or threatening to contend, if you're Giannis, Boston. Because you still have a lineup where you're in it, with Jason Tatum, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Kata, Sam Hauser, Shireman. There's a bench there, a little bit of one. But you're with Jason Tatum. You're the guy who is, no lower still, even after this injury, than third team and maybe second team again, maybe all the way up to first team All-NBA. So if you're going to Milwaukee, you got Bam Adebayo, who's a really nice player, Norman Powell, who is 33 years old. Miami, leaving Milwaukee. And you got, I guess, Andrew Wiggins, but you got to get rid of Tyler Hero. Where's the shooting? Who does Miami bring in? I know Miami's a professional outfit. They'll go find some players. I want to play, if I'm Giannis, with Jason Tatum. It changes the dynamic of the way the Celtics have to play, other than hoisting dumb threes straight to elimination.
This is the point that I would like to make. They won a title. Boston won a title 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
They've got the same cast, basically.
Well,
that's important to them. Well, they have Jason Tatum.
They have Jason Tatum.
If somebody could have convinced them to stop making every single shot a three, they could have beaten Philadelphia and maybe beaten New York.
Yep.
Right? They are much closer to contending for a championship than Miami. I mean, I know what you're saying about Miami, but then other pieces have to come in, and we don't know how that's going to be. But the bottom line is very simple. If Giannis wants to go to Miami, he goes to Miami.
Yes.
This is the NBA. Stars dictate where they play.
That's right.
Kevin Durant he's on a merry-go-round, stopping off at various cities whenever he wants to, and he gets to be able to do that because he's a star, and Giannis will get to be able to do it.
Two quick things. This is Boston, to me, acknowledging we're not as good as those people in New York. We're not as good as them. We need to go out and improve what we've got to be back in the ring, to step in the ring with the Knicks.
That's right.
And so this puts them closer to me than it does Miami, but no doubt. Riles, do we? That's it. We're done.
Are reporting that Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to be traded before tomorrow's NBA draft. The Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat are the finalists. Boston's offer centers around all-star Jaylen Brown, while Miami is pushing young players and draft capital. Brian Windhurst joining us now. Brian, so Giannis is expected to no longer be on the Bucks in the next 24 hours. What's the latest you're hearing?
Yeah, there's two things I think that we need to take from the developments in the last day or so. Number one, the Bucks are going to trade him. They've been on the fence with this on and off for months now, as we have documented well. He's going to get traded by tomorrow night. The second thing is the Boston Celtics have made a very aggressive offer here that includes Jaylen Brown, which means that the Celtics have decided that their team is not good enough and they probably need to break up the Jason Tatum-Jaylen Brown duo. Even if the Miami Heat's offer is the one that's accepted by the Boston Celtics, by the Bucks, I would not be surprised if Jaylen Brown is eventually traded somewhere else, because the Celtics have come to the determination that they're not good enough to beat the Knicks and maybe not good enough to beat other Eastern Conference powers like the Pistons, maybe even the Indiana Pacers next year. And so this is a significant development on multiple different fronts, but we could have an idea by tomorrow night of where Giannis is and what.
Giannis Antetokounmpo trade saga is expected to come to an end by tomorrow night's NBA draft. Giannis' future with the Bucks was a source of speculation all season, all while the two-time MVP was held to a career-low 36 games played due to injuries. And with that, we're back with Shams Charania. And Shams, what's the latest that you're hearing on this potential trade for Giannis?
Kiana, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to make a decision. They are in serious conversations right now with two finalists for Giannis, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And both teams are atop Giannis Antetokounmpo's preferred destination. Those are two teams that he has shown an openness and willingness to sign an extension with. But both frameworks of these deals are vastly different. The Celtics is led by Jaylen Brown, additional pieces, while the Miami Heat are more centered around younger players, cost-controlled, rookie-scale contracts, as well as multiple surplus of draft capital. So the Bucks are going to have to make a decision before the NBA draft on which offer they want to accept and move forward with. They've negotiated for a period of weeks, but even going back months to the February NBA trade deadline. So a lot of the work is done. My understanding is Giannis is ready to be traded from the Milwaukee Bucks. He wants to be moved either to Miami or Boston.
Okay, so we're looking at both of these destinations as a possibility, but could there just be any other teams getting involved in making this happen?
Listen, there's been multiple teams, even in the last few days, that have inquired, have made offers to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis. But the biggest factor in all of this is Giannis has 1 year remaining on his deal. And so if a team is going to give the assets necessary and the players necessary in this second apron collective bargaining era, they want a long-term commitment. And that, the couple teams that are trying to engage, a lot of that will be tampered and be dependent on whether Giannis wants to be with that said team long-term. And if not, that does have a hindrance on a potential offer, which is why Miami and Boston, as of right now, have stood out as the strongest proposals.
Yeah, as we stand right now, we're just over 24 hours away to potentially getting an answer to some of those questions that we have. Shams, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. Well, Giannis has become an NBA superstar by making an impact all over the stat sheet. He holds the Bucks franchise record for points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. He won Finals MVP when he led Milwaukee to its first title since 1971. And with that, let's bring in basketball analyst King McLaren. King, we've heard some of the possibilities, but my question to you is, where do you see as the best fit for Giannis?
You know, Kiana, if we're talking about just a strictly basketball perspective of fit, right? I think for me, it's the Celtics. When you look at what they love to do, they're a team that loves to get up a lot of threes. They shoot the ball exceptionally well. They space the floor, and they have a lot of shooters all over. But what does Giannis bring to the table? Getting downhill is his strong suit. That's his specialty. We have one of the best downhill finishers in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So for him to be able to play with a bunch of space, play with dudes who are respected in the corner to where you cannot help off, and now you're allowing one of the best players in the world to play one-on-one basketball, then you mix him with the pairing of Jason Tatum, which could be one of the scariest duos that the NBA has ever seen. I think from a basketball perspective, from a strictly fit standpoint, it's the Celtics.
I feel like there's two topics when it comes to Giannis and wherever he might land. It could be fit, but also it could be the desire to win now. Do you think Boston gives him the opportunity to check both of those boxes?
100%. I mean, we saw the success that Boston was able to have last season, especially with Jason Tatum being out as long as he was. So we saw the success, but in the playoffs, I think you need a guy like